he can continue.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I want to ask about the state of understanding. After when you get to the understanding, what is the evolution of that state? So once you got to the point of not doing anything, once you got the point of not entertaining or cooperating with any thought or emotion, at that point, how is that state evolves? It's not the same over time, right? I mean, not change. I'm not talking about changing. I'm talking about evolving, deepening. There are level of understanding, first level of understanding, and then more and more understanding. Can you talk about this part, please?
So we have discussed about two sections of our mind. The one section is the natural happening, the feeling part. The other section of our mind is the doing part. The doing part is always have some idea, this is good, this is bad, if I want to do something, I should not do something. So in this way, it is always going on planning. So the planning is in the second part. The first part, that is a natural part, that is a living part of our mind. That is the all emotions, all feelings, everything comes in the first part of the mind. That is the happening part. So the second part, the planning part, will have many duties with the world. Without the help of the second part of the mind, we cannot do anything in the world. So all our duties are related to the second part of our mind. But the second part will not have any duty towards the first part of our mind, the emotional part of the mind. So now, what is the relationship between the emotional part and the intellectual part or the planning part? So the planning part has to recognize the natural functioning of our first part, because it has no work. Because when it is already over, then only we know the appearance of the first part. So after the disappearance of the first part, the second part recognize the appearance of the first part. So when it is already over, it has no duty to correct the dead thing or correct the disappeared thing. So the second part has the duty to recognize, I have no duty towards the first part. I have no duty to the emotional part. So the planning part or the intellectual part has to understand, I have no duty to the first part or the happening part. So if it has the understanding like that, it will, the first part and second part is able to go together. It function together. So some harmony will happen, the first part and second part. So because the first part is the liberated part, we cannot control the first part. It is happening. We cannot design the first part. It is beyond all our control. It is beyond all our expectation. It is a natural part. That is a living part. So even in this moment alone, for each and every moment, the first part is living, the second part is also living. But at the same time, the first part is living without the grip of the second part. The first part, each and every moment we feel something. The feeling part is, it is a living part. The living part is always living. It is, even though it is living momentarily, moment by moment it is new. Some new happening, the new emotion, the new feeling, the new happening, everything is happening moment by moment. So for that, the second part has no action. The second part has to recognize. So the first part need not recognize anything. So it is not a planning part. The first part is a natural part. It comes naturally. The second part alone has to recognize the nature of the first part, the nature of the second part. Then the second part has to submit, it has to limit itself not to interfere with the happening of the first part. So the first part will comes and disappears moment by moment. It is new, just like the some light or anything. The light, even all light, are moment by moment new. All sounds are moment by moment new. So in this way, the first part is moment by moment new, but it is also a living thing. And the second part has no duty towards the living part. And the second part has to do many duty towards the world, towards the many things, but it has no duty towards the first part. So all understanding with related to the second part.
Yes, thank you. Just to complete. So basically, you are saying, if I understand correctly, that all this understanding is part of the second part. And the first part is just happening, and there is no understanding there, because understanding is a function of the mind.
Yeah. So the first part is natural part. Some good thing may happen, bad thing may happen, anything may happen. It has no planning. It comes naturally. So that is the liberated part. That is the living part. But it has no enlightenment. Enlightenment is not related to the first part. Enlightenment is related to the second part. The second part is the planning part. The planning part has to understand with if it understand correctly with related to the functioning of the first part, that is enlightenment. So the second part has to understand I have no duty towards the first part. So this is the enlightenment.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.